With Modern Times, he criticized capitalism without a conscience. And that's what we have now. We have capitalism without a conscience. He showed the common man being fed through gears of the brutal, dehumanizing industrial age. He took on the American right wing of his day, its worst evils: hatred of immigrants, contempt for the truth, greed, and the abuse of power. In America, in the United Kingdom, across the globe. And we need to be clear, shamelessness is not and will never be a superpower. Sure, I can afford the miracle drug for restless leg syndrome. Trump is toast.
I like that one. Trump is toast. Yeah, man. And so you just kind of digest the news of the day.
It's an affirmation.
Uh-huh.
With me, she actually stole. Wow, look at this! I can do anything with it. Working, not working. Right now, there are generations growing up right now who are learning to lie. That lying is okay. That we are parentless. You know? And we are babysat by the television. We're taught how to think by the television. That's the dangerous time.
Remember when Jim Carrey was just the goofy guy from Ace Ventura? Those days are long gone. The man who once made millions laugh with his wild antics and rubbery face has turned into a powerful voice, and he's not holding back. Carrey isn't just criticizing Trump. He's tearing him apart with sharp words and even sharper artwork that's setting the internet on fire. His latest takedown has people shocked, amazed, and buzzing with conversation. Quick favor: if you're enjoying this content, give the video a like and hit that subscribe button. Believe it or not, over 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and makes a huge difference for us. Already subscribed? Awesome, thank you for your support. Now, back to the main story. Remember when Jim Carrey was just the guy talking through his butt cheeks in Ace Ventura? Or playing the creepy stalker in The Cable Guy? Well, those days are in the past. The comedian who became a household name for his wacky physical comedy has evolved into something no one expected: a bold political voice who's not afraid to speak his mind. But Carrey's transformation isn't just about words, it's about action. Or more specifically, art. His scathing paintings of Trump pull no punches, showing the former president as everything from a rabid dog to a twisted witch straight out of a nightmare. These pieces aren't just shocking, they're powerful. They grab your attention, make you uncomfortable, and force you to think, all while adding a layer of dark humor. And the impact? Oh, it's massive. Whether people love or hate this new side of Carrey, one thing's clear: nobody's ignoring him. When he shared his latest masterpiece, social media lit up faster than a 4th of July fireworks show. Some praised him for speaking out, others slammed him for going too far. But everyone was talking about it. This isn't just a celebrity throwing shade. This is a passionate citizen using his platform to spark real change. Carrey's messages aren't just jokes, they challenge us to think about leadership, honesty, and the state of our democracy. By channeling his creativity into biting satire, Carrey is proving that comedy can still hit hard even when the issues are serious.
You know, this administration is a rabid dog, and it's turning us upside down. And all, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's as obvious as the nose on your face. You can make a bad decision about a candidate. It's not who you are.
I mean, a lot of it, really, truly.
Yeah.
That is a way
My secret is making the wrong choices, but committing completely.
No, I don't think you have. My favorite movie, and I love many of them, is Cable Guy.
Trump is toast.
I like that one. Trump is toast. Yeah, man. And so you just kind of digest the news of the day.
It's an affirmation. Uh-huh. Working, not working. Oh, they got you coming and going, man.
Jim Carrey's journey from a goofy comedian to an anti-Trump crusader didn't happen overnight. Before he started painting harsh caricatures of the orange-haired president, Carrey was just slowly stepping into the world of politics during the Bush administration. Back then, his occasional jabs at politicians were soft and lighthearted, the kind of jokes that got polite laughs at Hollywood fundraisers but didn't really make headlines. Most fans were too busy quoting Alrighty Then from Ace Ventura to notice that Carrey's political side was quietly taking shape. But behind the scenes, something was definitely changing. While Carrey was making millions laugh with his wild antics and over-the-top comedy, his personal life was pushing him toward deeper reflection. After struggling with depression for years, Carrey started diving into spirituality and questioning the world around him. Around 2008, he began speaking up in interviews about his concerns regarding corporate influence in politics. But most of the time, these comments went unnoticed because people were more interested in his next big comedy role or his hilarious impressions. By the time Trump entered the political scene, Carrey was already mentally prepared to take action. What started as quiet reflections turned into a burning desire to use his platform for something bigger than just making people laugh. His art became his strongest weapon. His paintings turned into bold statements, showing Trump as a rabid dog, a wicked witch, and other shocking images that captured the chaos of his presidency. Carrey wasn't just trying to make people laugh anymore, he was urging them to open their eyes and face the reality of what was happening. And let's be clear, this wasn't just about comedy anymore. Carrey's artwork was a full-blown call to action. His paintings carried powerful messages, forcing people to think about the state of leadership and democracy. It wasn't just satire, it was a wake-up call. So while Jim Carrey may no longer be the guy talking through his butt cheeks in Ace Ventura, though we'll always have the cable guy, his transformation proves something powerful. It shows us that anyone, no matter how they start, can use their voice to stand up against injustice. And as Carrey continues to spark debates and inspire change through his art, one thing is clear. The former king of chaos has found a new purpose, one that reaches far beyond the world of slapstick comedy.
You got to speak, man. This is not a time to clam up, and not a time to get frightened. You have to do what you have to do. This is dire. I just want to express it in a positive way. I want to turn everything painful into art.
You react to the pipe bombs. Are you afraid personally ever?
Apparently, I was threatened on Twitter, so I don't know. I didn't see the thing. I heard there was, some severed goat head, and I'll see you soon, kind of thing. I can break bread with anybody in this country. I love people in this country. I love the heartland of this country. It has nothing to do with that. These really negative forces like the Steve Bannons of the world are convincing us that we're separate, that we're not the same country, that there's two countries. There's not two countries. It has to do with, it's become obvious that the choice was a bad one. We just need to change it. And if you can't vote for a Democrat, at least let all this flood of information that's so negative. Hard to understand what's going on. I really, one minute you feel like, oh my gosh, this is going to be, now the landslide's going to start, and then there'll be some other weaselly little, sidestep they do. Or you can make a bad decision about a candidate. It's not who you are. It doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't mean you're different. It doesn't mean, the trouble with what's happening right now is these, this administration is a rabid dog, and it's turning us upside down. And all, as far as I'm concerned, it's as obvious as the nose on your face.
The real turning point came in 2016, when Donald Trump famously descended that golden escalator to announce his candidacy. Like many comedians, Jim Carrey initially brushed it off as just another joke, a bizarre sideshow in the world of politics. But as Trump's campaign gained momentum, Carrey's perspective started to shift. His casual jokes slowly turned into serious concerns, and it became clear that he wasn't laughing anymore. In 2016, during an appearance on Real Time with Bill Maher, Carrey made his first strong anti-Trump statement, calling him a used car salesman with a terrible spray tan. The audience laughed, but if you looked closely, there was something different about Carrey. Beneath the humor, there was a spark of genuine concern, as if he knew that this wasn't just another joke. Something far more serious was brewing. But when Trump actually won the presidency, Carrey's gloves came off completely. In 2017, while accepting an award at the BAFTA Britannia Awards, Carrey delivered a speech that marked a major shift in his public persona. This time, there were no jokes or funny impressions. Instead, he passionately spoke about the greed, hatred, and division he believed were destroying democracy. It was raw, heartfelt, and unfiltered, a moment that showed just how deeply troubled Carrey was about the direction America was heading. Carrey's social media also reflected this change. Fans who were used to seeing his funny selfies and motivational quotes suddenly noticed a shift. His Instagram turned into a platform for political commentary, with Carrey openly criticizing Trump and his administration. What started as a few remarks here and there quickly transformed into a steady stream of hard-hitting critiques. But this wasn't just another celebrity ranting online. Carrey was intentionally using his voice to spark meaningful conversations. What's even more fascinating about Carrey's transformation is how he started using his comedic skills for political messaging. The same man who could twist his face into hilarious expressions in The Mask was now using those same skills to mimic Trump's exaggerated pouts and scowls in viral videos. His comedy evolved from silly slapstick humor to sharp and intelligent satire, and honestly, his new approach was hitting harder than most political analysts. But Carrey wasn't just angry, he was strategic. He knew that humor had power, and he chose to use it as a weapon against what he believed was political chaos. His once goofy personality had now transformed into a force that demanded accountability and justice. It was like he had found a higher purpose, one that resonated far beyond Hollywood. And that's the most surprising part of Carrey's journey. The man who once made us laugh with butt jokes in Ace Ventura was now delivering powerful messages that were impossible to ignore. His brushstrokes were louder than his punchlines, and his satire was hitting harder than any scripted comedy. Jim Carrey's transformation from goofy entertainer to fearless political provocateur wasn't just personal, it was necessary. One thing's for sure, the man who once said, "Alrighty then," is now saying something far more important. And with every new painting, every sharp joke, and every viral moment, his voice is only getting louder.
Brought me back to 8 years old, where I used to sit in my room. Trump is toast.
I like that one. That's
Trump is toast. Yeah. Yeah, man.
And so you just kind of digest the news of the
It's
day.
an affirmation.
I'm glad some good is coming out of this stuff. This is Robert Mueller.
Robert Mueller putting the squeeze on the president.
I want a little...
By 2018, Jim Carrey had fully embraced his new role as a political voice. He wasn't just sharing his opinions on Twitter anymore, he took it a step further and started painting. But these weren't just random doodles or childish taunts. Carrey's artwork was bold, intense, and highly controversial, depicting Trump in disturbing and unflattering situations. It was clear that Carrey wasn't just joking around, his paintings were loud statements from someone who had been closely following the political chaos all along. It was like Carrey's paintbrushes had gone to war. The same man who once made us laugh in Dumb and Dumber was now appearing on major news channels, quoting philosophers and talking about the serious threats to democracy. The goofy comedian everyone knew had transformed into a fierce political analyst, and he wasn't holding back anymore. The first major blow in Carrey's war against Trump came not from his brush, but from his own words. During a now famous interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Carrey didn't just criticize Trump, he went nuclear. With his usual intense stare and animated expressions, Carrey compared Trump to a vicious dog deliberately destroying the United States. His words were sharp, unfiltered, and came from a place of genuine anger and concern. This wasn't just another celebrity taking shots at Trump for publicity. Carrey was deeply invested in what was happening to his country. What made Carrey's approach different was the raw passion he brought to his fight. Whether it was through his controversial paintings or hard-hitting interviews, Carrey was making it clear that he wasn't here for jokes anymore. He believed that the Trump administration was turning everything upside down, and he was determined to use his voice and talent to fight back. Jim Carrey had transformed. The man who once made millions laugh with silly faces and hilarious jokes was now making powerful political statements that were impossible to ignore. His mission was no longer about comedy. It was about waking people up to the reality of what was happening around them. And with every stroke of his brush and every passionate interview, Carrey was proving that he was no longer just a comedian. He was a force taking a stand against what he believed was injustice.
It's a stress reliever.
And here we have...
That's Space Force.
That's the Space Force, yeah.
That's the beginning of Space Force. That's right. Makes me feel good.
When you were a kid, would you draw caricatures of your friends, etc.?
I did. I drew pictures of my teacher.
Oh, really?
And I don't have any of those with me. She actually stole... Wow, look at this. I can do anything with it. Working? Not working.
Oh, they got you coming and going, man. You know what I mean? You try and you try and you give it all. You give it all to them.
Carrey was quickly dismissed by Trump supporters as just another Hollywood liberal who should stick to making funny faces instead of talking about politics. It was like watching America split in two over a comedian's opinion, which perfectly reflects the current political divide. On one side, liberal Twitter praised Carrey, calling him a new political hero who wasn't afraid to speak the truth. On the other side, MAGA Twitter exploded with anger, demanding boycotts of his films and calling him irrelevant. But what really made Carrey's statement hit hard was his rabid dog comment. It wasn't just an insult, it was a powerful metaphor that summed up how Carrey viewed Trump's presidency. In his eyes, Trump was like a rabid dog, dangerous, unpredictable, and completely out of control. The comparison wasn't just meant to mock Trump. It was Carrey's way of warning people about the chaos he believed Trump was creating. What made Carrey's opinion even more impactful was the fact that it came from someone known for making people laugh, not for political statements. But now, Carrey wasn't joking anymore. He was genuinely concerned about the future of the country. His words were harsh, but they were powerful. It was clear that Carrey was no longer the guy who just made funny faces on screen. He was now using his voice to call out what he believed was wrong. And that's what made people react so strongly. Some stood by him and applauded his bravery, while others turned against him, labeling him as just another celebrity trying to stay relevant. But Carrey didn't care. He had found a new purpose. And no matter how much backlash he faced, he was determined to keep speaking his mind. Carrey was immediately dismissed by Trump supporters as just another Hollywood liberal who should stick to making funny faces instead of talking about politics. It was like watching America split in two over a comedian's opinion, which perfectly reflects the current political atmosphere. On one side, liberal Twitter hailed Carrey as their new political hero who wasn't afraid to speak the truth. On the other side, MAGA Twitter exploded with anger, calling for boycotts of his films and labeling him as irrelevant. What made Carrey's rabid dog comment hit even harder was how perfectly it described Trump's leadership style. A rabid dog is dangerous, unpredictable, and completely out of control, and that's exactly how Carrey viewed Trump's presidency. His comparison wasn't just some random insult, it was a powerful metaphor that sent a clear message. Carrey believed Trump was a real threat to the country. And the best part was that his message was simple enough for anyone to understand. But it wasn't just Carrey's words that made an impact, it was the way he delivered them. This wasn't Ace Ventura being silly or the mask making goofy faces. This was a serious and passionate Carrey, with a straight face and intense tone, warning people about the danger he believed Trump posed. It was a complete shift from the funny man people were used to seeing, and that's exactly what made his message hit harder. What frustrated many Trump supporters the most was the fact that the same man who had once made them laugh for decades was now forcing them to think. Social media quickly turned into a war zone. According to a Trump supporter, Carrey had lost his charm and was now nothing more than bitter and cruel. But Carrey didn't care. He was no longer trying to entertain, he was trying to open people's eyes to what he believed was a dangerous reality. The backlash was harsh, but Carrey didn't back down. He had made up his mind if speaking the truth meant losing fans, then so be it. The man who once made us laugh with his hilarious impressions was now using his voice to make us think. And that's exactly why his message was impossible to ignore.